What's in my nighttime plug bag? Let's talk about it. Okay, so we're going to cover all the lures that I throw in the nighttime. That goes from really light colors on full moons to really dark colors on new moons. Alright, I'm going to start off simple. Sluggo. Sluggo on a little weighted belly hook. Very, very simple. You're just twitching this. It's great over boulder fields. It's great in kind of that shallow gravel or rock where you don't really want to throw a minnow plug because it's going to get hung up. This is great nighttime bait. Obviously, dark color, new moon. You know, you use your whites, your pinks in a full moon, your blacks in a new moon. Yozuri Mag Darter. So I live in Boston, fish North Shore. I'm not a huge darter guy. I like the mag darters more. It's like a hybrid between a minnow plug and a darter. I like yellow in brighter situations. So, you know, more towards that full moon. Sometimes I go with a bone on a full moon. But normally I'm going to stick with yellow. It's a great shade at night. No such thing as colors at night. Just shades. Everything's black and white at night. So this is a nice, more white color. Next off, this is the only darter I carry. I think it's a Montauk darter. The hardest thing about a darter is confidence and knowing that you're working the plug right. It's not like a minnow plug or a bottle plug or a Danny plug where you know you're working the plug right. It's going to do a really, really wide swim, just like this. And you're not really going to feel that in your rod tip like you would a minnow plug. But the plug is 99 times out of 100 working correctly. So you just got to trust that. The second part about a darter is while it works in no current, it works much, much better in current. It just helps give that really wide, you know, S-curved, kind of just like a swim bait for bass. Again, blurple. You know, your blacks, your blurples, your purples, dark color new moon, lighter colors full moon. Okay, Sebile. Everyone knows what a Sebile is. Everyone's thrown a Sebile. Everyone who's ever touched water in the Cape Cod Canal has thrown a Sebile. This is their, I think, glow color. First thing I recommend, this comes with a, you know, double hook in the back. Take it off. Don't put a hook on the back. This little joint on the back cannot hold a big fish. It will break off. It will break your heart. You will leave a treble hook in a big fish's mouth. No one wants that. Take it off the back. I run one treble on the bottom, and this is great. It can be great in low light, you know, like not your new moons, but, you know, maybe you're at half moon, but it really excels in the full moon. My all-time favorite nighttime plug, Black Bomber. Black Bomber Long A is hands down the best minnow plug. It's got a really tinny little rattle, just like one ball bearing in there, little tinny rattle. Casts like a shoe. It's terrible to cast, but if bass are in close, they will hit this. So you do a super, super slow retrieve, as slow as you can go. The saying I always hear is reel as slow as your grandma would reel, then slow down. And you will get the hits on this. Comes with 3 hooks. I take the middle hook off. I have zero interest in dealing with 3 sets of trebles in the dark. It's also just trying to help the fish, you know, with the stock that the stripers are in right now. Just trying to maintain a better fishery and kind of keep bass mortality to a low. 3 sets of trebles, not going to help you do that. SP minnow and chicken scratch. Again, everyone knows what an SP minnow is if you striper fish. Not a huge fan of the bone at night. I like the chicken scratch more just because it has this kind of yellowish orange top, along with having, you know, a semi-white kind of lateral side and bottom. So yeah, you know, your full moons, you're throwing lighter colors. Not to say that dark colors can't work on a full moon. I just tend to go to lighter colors. But obviously you don't have to, you know, do what you're confident with. But this is one of my favorites for full moon. Next up is a red fin. Your great-grandfather threw a red fin, your grandfather threw a red fin, your father threw a red fin, you should throw a red fin. Very, very great plug. Some people like to load them down, you know, just make them a little heavier, make them swim deeper. I don't like to do that. I'd rather just use a minnow plug. I like to reel this really, really slow. It's going to leave on a calm night, just that nice little V wake on the top of the wire. This lip right here is going to help leave a nice little V wake. Doesn't work during rough surf, does not work. You know, it's got to be flat, calm for this plug to work. It's a big fish plug. Big fish are going to hit this. You know, it's as big as my hand here. It's a big plug. If you want to go after big fish on a calm night, this is the plug to do it. Also, nothing beats a top water, you know, hit. You hear that splash in the middle of the night. That's fun. Okay, rough surf. Super Strike bottle plug. This is my go-to for rough surf in the night. If you're, you know, on your rock and it's rough, this is the plug to do it. This lip right here, that's going to dig into the surf. And, you know, that's going to swim when a minnow plug is going to get swept up by the surf. Like an SP minnow is going to get swept up by the surf. Not be working right. This plug is going to work. Has a really loud rattle. Really loud rattle with a lot of BBs in there. Again, blurple, so more towards the new moon. And, you know, when the low light, cloudy, so the moon's not showing, stuff like that. That's where you're throwing this in rough surf. Not going to work well in calm surf just because of the loud rattle. Again, not to say it can't work. I bet it's worked for people. I just don't like that aggressive rattle in soft surf. Big Danny plug. I got 2 Danny plugs. This is the yellow-white. Obviously a smaller version of the Big Danny plug. Big Danny plug, again, great lure. Reeling it super slow on top. It's going to leave a nice V wake on top. This one right here, 2 sets of trebles and a single hook, is a big fish plug. The one problem with two problems with Danny plugs is, one, they cast terrible. They're not aerodynamic at all. I've got a big, you know, wood cylinder. It's not going to cast very well. They're heavy though, so you can fling them out a good ways. The second thing, this one especially is a big fish plug. So you catch, you know, like anything under really 28 inches hits this, you're normally going to lose that fish. It's just hard for them to get their mouths really around this. It's got big trebles. It's got big single hook. It's hard for them to just get their mouth around this plug. That's why I have the small Danny plug. You know, 1 treble, 1 single. Much easier to get your hand around. Work it the same way. I like the yellow and white more than I like the white. No really reason why. I mean, obviously the bottom. Look at the bottom of these plugs. Not much difference at all. It's just a stupid tradition of mine. But obviously, whatever's on the top of the plug doesn't really matter if it's a topwater plug. Fish are only going to see that. And that V-wake it's creating, that disturbance in the calm surf. Obviously, again, calm water only for these. Or at least that's my belief, is calm water only. Again, it probably could work in rough surf for people. Anything works. It's fishing. Anything can work. But yeah, so, you know, smaller fish, bigger fish. Another lure your great-grandfather used, needlefish. This is a tsunami needlefish. It's got that nice dressed treble, or dressed single hook on the back. They're probably the dumbest plug that just catches giant fish. No one really knows why they work, but they work. They're just so subtle in the water. You know, you're doing a slow, straight retrieve, and it's just going like this in the water. Of course, it looks like a stick, but it's great imitating, you know, sand eels, small bait, mainly I mainly throw it for sand eels, but it imitates small bait. It can imitate, you know, peanuts at night. Again, I just like throwing it around sand eels. It's a nice plug, but it's just a wooden, like your great grandpa had this. It's a painted wood plug with a couple hooks on it, and there's not like pretty much any action to it at all. It's just kind of like that in the water, just swimming slowly in the water column. You want a sinking needlefish. You don't want a floating needlefish. You want a sinking needlefish. You can work a sinking needlefish 10 times better than you can work a floating needlefish, because you can cast it out, you know, count it down to whatever depth you want to work it at, and then slowly retrieve it. Floating needlefish, you know, say it's, I don't know, 3 foot, you know, you're gonna get it to 3 feet, 5 feet, whatever. It's, you know, you gotta reel it down like a crankbait. You really want a sinking needlefish. It takes a little getting used to, but you can do so much more with that plug once you learn how to use it. Next up, Daiwa SP Minnow in Blurple. If you fished at night, you've thrown this plug. Casts like a bullet and catches fish. You know, it's got that patented like deep thud rattle. It's a great plug. One thing I will say is I switch out all my trebles on all my plugs to 4X VMCs, but especially on an SP Minnow, I'm sorry, but their hooks suck. You will lose big fish. You will bend out hooks if you leave the stock hooks on this. Switch out your hooks. Slow retrieve. Some nights you can do a faster retrieve. Some nights they like it, you know, burning it in. I tend to go to start with a slow retrieve, and if I'm, you know, hearing fish and not getting hits, and I want to throw this plug, I'll speed it up a bit, see if that works. But I like a slow retrieve at night. Again, just another version of the minnow plug. It's a Joe Bag Swarter. It doesn't have that lip, so I don't think it dives as deep, but it's got that kind of mini darter lip. That's why they call it the Swarter. It's like a, you know, minnow plug, swimming plug, Swarter, darter, swimmer, darter, Swarter. Some people might say, you know, oh, the paint's chipping on that. It doesn't really matter at all. Again, I switch out all my trebles, 4X VMCs. My last Danny plug I carry with me this is my tried and true trusty Blurple Danny plug. I love it. I have 2 trebles on it. Again, nice, better on new moons, just reeling it slow on top in really calm surf. Another minnow plug. This is what's this one called? I honestly don't remember what this is called. This is a all black. I love that red eye on it for some reason. I don't think it does anything, but it just looks cool. Again, VMCs on this. Reel it slow, reel it fast if you want. Dives a little shallower than the SP Minnow, the Joe Bags. One thing is it doesn't have a split ring on the front there. So I like to, I always run a Tactical Angler clip at night. They're great. I recommend 75-pound test, just so you don't get those bent out by the big fish in the surf. If you're not using a Tactical Angler clip, I'd tie a loop knot on this just to give it the most action you possibly can. Next, this is a smaller, it's the 1-ounce Yozuri Mag Darter. If you look, it's like a little blue back and chrome. Again, there are no colors at night, just shades, so I think this is somewhere in between your Blurple. You know, you got your Blurple, you got this. So this is a bit lighter than the Blurple. And you got your yellow. So this is a bit darker than your yellow. It's a nice in-between color for, you know, maybe you've got, I don't know, a half, 3/4 moon. You want to throw this, not quite light enough to throw this. This is what I go to. Mag Darter and Blurple. Again, it's a smaller plug than the SP. Just a bit smaller. You know, maybe if they're on smaller bait, they're smaller fish, I'd go with this over this. Cast the same. Kind of more in the size range, both of these, you know, for your smaller fish. Again, you're reeling it slow the entire time. Last one is some sort of paddle tail swim bait or eel type swim bait. This is an Al Gags 1 ounce with a 5-inch white pearl tail. I like it. It works well. I like the white at night or chicken scratch at night. Joe Bags makes some. They make some bigger ones. Haven't really tried them. Bet they're equally as good. Who else? You got your Savage Gear sand eels. Those always work great. You know, tried and true in the canal. They make a black. They make all sorts of whites and stuff. The other thing, if you're not a huge paddle tail guy, bucktail works just as fine. Black bucktail if it's dark, you know, black soft plastic if it's dark, and then a white or a glow if it's light out with, you know, when I throw my bucktails, I like a ottertail teaser on it. I feel like that gives it a lot more action, and it's extremely durable. Get them they're like $5. Get a bunch. They'll last you 50 fish. They're great. So yeah, that is what's in my nighttime plug bag. Feel free to leave a comment if you have a question, comment, whatever, and let me know what you guys want to see next. Thanks.